Okay folks, this section here, this part is for the flywheel, for the starting mechanism. You don't really need to put that in. If you're just going to put the cover over the top like it recommends in instructions, like you see here, you don't have to put this in at all. You can just put the cover straight over the top. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to need the internals because you're not going to see them. So this is the cover and it fits straight over. The only time you want to put the internals is unless you want the cover off and you want to display it, but because I'm having the cover on, there's no need to do the internals. Okay folks, I was going to leave these fragile parts off and do them after, but discovering if you put the floor on before you put those basically foot pedals on, like you see here, they come through these two gaps, which is basically these two gaps in the floor. So if you glue this in now, you won't be able to get your pedals in. So we're going to have to put the pedals in now and then put this over the top. Okay, now we've had all the levers and the seat has gone in and stuff. I highly recommend this kit, but I don't recommend it for a beginner at all because it's very fragile and it can be very frustrating, and I find it quite tricky in some parts. Right, the next step is to do the fenders, but if you see here on instructions, you see A12 is one of the levers. Again, you're going to have to fit that before you put the fenders on because you will not get the lever in because the fenders are going to cover what part of the holes. So what I mean by that is this lever sits in here. Not going to go now, is it? Right, and then get the fender, which is this one. It goes over the wheel. No, my mistake. This one goes over the wheel and butts in up against the chassis, like so, and the other side. And this lever you see here is the one that you need to put in before you put the fender in, because it's not going to fit. The other side's not so much because there's no levers. Kind of put this one in to show you. I need to do a little bit of clean up on the other side of this fender. That's why it's not fitting. But it gives you the basics what it's going to look like. So now we can attach this part, which is basically where implements will get attached to if you're towing trailers and plows and all sorts of stuff. This basically gets glued into there and it rests on these arms, so somewhat like that. Okay, this is the brake assembly. It's drum brakes. Superb detail, by the way. See on this little pin here, this corresponds to this part of the back of the brake. You don't want the brake sitting straight, it needs to sit at a slight angle. So what I mean is, it's always the way when you try and do stuff on camera, it never seems to work. There you go. It's slightly offset. Okay folks, this is the next section of the steering. I'm going to build this and I'll show you what it looks like off camera. It's C in certain parts of the front where you've got a C clip, which is CB1, and those sections require no glue, so it allows the wheel to spin. Okay, now we've done this part of the steering. You see on this side it's like a diamond shape, the opposite side is a diamond shape with a cutout. This is how you can tell which is left and right sides. So you've got to make sure the diamond is on your left and on your right is the diamond. And basically this is what makes the steering. Next piece is to put on this piece at the back, which will sit somewhat like up here. Okay my friends, now it's dried, the steering works just like that, but again I'm not sure how well it's going to work overall. It could be really fragile, so it's entirely up to you. I'm going to leave it loose fit for now just so I can get it into place, but if it's too fragile I'll just glue it all up. But another slight thing, it's not an issue with the instructions as such, but you see this part here I've left off because it's on the underside and I don't want it to get knocked off. I recommend doing that. You see it pointing straight down on the tractor into this round plate, and it looks like it's going into that hole. It's not actually going into that hole, it sits on the side of the tractor here. It looks like it's going to go into the here when in fact it actually sits onto this side piece. So if you've already glued it by the instruction thinking it's gone in the middle, you've made a mistake, because on the next step, which after you've done this steering and you come to fit it to the lower chassis, this triangle piece fits in that hole. So if you've already done that other bar and put it in the wrong place, you're going to have to basically try and fix it somehow. So just bear that in mind. Okay folks, there's a slight mistake with the instructions when it comes to put these parts together for most of the steering. It doesn't actually tell you where they go. This actually will sit on this pin in the middle of the tractor, if you wondered, and then the rest of it connects up to the front. Okay folks, this is all complete now. I did finish off the last bits of the suspension arms, and it is highly fragile. I tried filming it on camera, but with the camera in my face I can't really do it, I have to get up close. But this is the finished product. Highly detailed, very fragile, goes together nicely. The couple of mistakes in the instructions where they're telling you to add parts, I wouldn't recommend doing it that way. I'd fit certain things first, like they're saying put the floor in, but then if you do that the levers won't fit, so you have to do the levers first and then the floor. When it comes to put the pin in, they're saying put the pin in once you put the cross member and leaf springs in. The pin doesn't fit quite well, a bit of a wrestle, so think of doing that a little bit earlier. There's a couple of bits that I've left off I want to paint separately, like the exhaust. So this is going to be dirty, grimy, rusty and messy. The steering wheel is going to be painted black and stuff, so I've left that off. The cover is the blue, the same as the tractor, which actually goes over here. but the reason why I've left it off is because the grills are the brass, so I want to paint them so I can get to them. The headlights go on the front. I've left them off separately so I can fit the lenses and do all that. Just makes it easier. The wheels are all complete, so it'd be easier for painting, and then once they were done we could just pop these on. The rear wheels fit pretty well. The front one's a bit iffy because they have these little pins inside, and they've got correspond with the hubs, and they've got correspond with those tabs.